Before I get into this commentary topic, I wanted to personally thank Thunder for letting me post on this TSG channel. I think it's really fucking cool that he gives us smaller channels a chance to get a little bit more exposure and hopefully make a name for ourselves in this whole YouTube game. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. At the beginning of the video, you saw some perfect examples of what most of us would consider bullshit, cheap, and it should all be taken out of the game. A lot of us have broken many controllers or TV sets because of these perks or attachments or streaks or whatever. And, you know, I was thinking about it the other day. Why developers feel the need to put this shit in the multiplayer experience of Call of Duty. It doesn't really add any sort of benefit to cheap players, and in the end, it just, most of the time, it breaks the game. It cuts the flow of the gameplay, it slows things down, and it punishes people who are in fact pretty skilled at the game. You know, you spend hours upon hours and days upon days playing Call of Duty. You know, a lot of us have been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 1 or Call of Duty 4. And most of us have gotten skilled enough to understand where we are in the tier of skills in this game. And when you add cheap crap that really serves no purpose besides slowing the game pace down, it really makes you scratch your head on why the developers feel the need to put this stuff in the game, and for whatever reason these things aren't taken out. I think a lot of times these developers are very, very proud people, and they feel that, you know, anything that they put in the game, it serves some sort of purpose and it adds some sort of balance into the multiplayer. And a lot of us are just like, why? It makes no fucking sense. But on the other hand, and I mean, you can give me your opinion on this, of course, you probably are. A lot of us would consider this shit cheap, and we would never, ever, ever use these attachments or perks or whatever, no matter how cheap it is, because we have some sort of pride, we have some sort of something to prove amongst the millions of people who play this game. You know, like, for some reason we give a shit, you know, especially those of us who have YouTube channels. A lot of us, for some reason, care about what some adult or what some child thinks of us because we're using some sort of attachment or perk or gun streak or whatever. You know, that we feel like, oh, you know, I'm never going to use the target finder or the dual band strictly because, you know, I'm too proud to use it, and, you know, I know that if I primarily use these attachments that I'm going to get tons of hate and I'm going to be called cheap and whatever else bullshit you want to be called. But I always thought to myself, why? Why does it fucking matter what someone else thinks of us just because we use something to our advantage, no matter how cheap it is, no matter what tactic it may be? Why is it that we care so much? Why? You know, if the ultimate goal in this game is to get a high kill scoring gameplay or win the round, why wouldn't we want to use these tactics? Why wouldn't we want to use anything that the game provides us to our advantage to gain the thing that we ultimately desire? Answer me that question. You know, if using a target finder actually does help somebody aim better or help somebody spot the enemy a lot easier, wouldn't you want to use that? especially with somebody who's already skilled with the sticks to begin with. If they just add these extra bonuses to that skill, it'll just make the game a lot easier. But I don't know. I never understood why people think that way, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are pretty angry that I'm using this setup right now. But to be honest, I just put on this class setup strictly as an example to show you guys what you can do with these types of cheap tactics and what type of gameplays that are possible with these type of tactics, especially if the connection is in your favor, which we all know Black Ops 2 is in fact 80 to 90% connection based. You know, you could have the most skilled player in the world, but if that one motherfucker sees you a half second ahead of time, no matter how fast you are with your reflexes, you're always going to get outgunned no matter what. So, yeah, that's all I had to say about the game in the background. You know, I just wanted to use this cheap tactic to set an example of what exactly you could do with a decent set of skills and using these cheap perks or attachments to your advantage. What kind of gameplays that are possible with this stuff. So, you know, I guess, you know, just leave me in the comment section below. Why is it that we feel the need to impress whoever, or why are we so proud that we cannot succumb to using these sorts of perks or attachments, whether it be Dead Man's Hand, Last Stands, 3 frag grenades, target finder, LMG, sniper rifles, all that shit that we all love to bitch and complain about how easy and how shitty and how cheap it is. Why is it we feel the need to just not use these things to our advantage, to get the win, to get high scoring gameplays, and ultimately to get the women? No, I'm just kidding. No women give a shit about these Call of Duty skills. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for listening to this commentary. Give me your opinion and thoughts down below in the comment section. And yeah, there you go. Got my Merciless and my 36 and 0. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. And thanks a lot, Thunder. Peace.